Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Coffee with the Principal. We still have a couple more minutes before we get started, but if you can take a look at the icebreaker question for today and put your answer in the chat. Thank you all for being here once again. The question today is, what is your New Year's resolution? I know when we always start a new year, we tend to want to, set some goals because it's a new year, fresh start. We kind of reset the button. So I'm interested to see what our New Year's resolutions are. So if I can have all our parents and staff, Sweetwater staff, participate and put your answer in the chat, really appreciate it. See some good goals already, some good resolutions. Eat healthier, improve my English. It's a really good goal. Better version of me in all aspects of life. That's a really, really good one. I like that. Very sweet. I think we all have a bucket list, so the only way to get to it is at least if each year we start checking things off a little at a time. Very nice. Any other New Year's resolutions? Eat healthier, exercise. Yes, a lot of us tend to have those as our resolutions. All right. Very good. Okay. Thank you. You can, as more and more parents are joining us, they can feel free to put their answers in the chat. I keep reading your answers. I like all your responses. To continue being a good person. That's always a great goal that we all remember. Continue being good to ourselves and good to others too. Okay, so I'm going to ask that unless you're presenting or speaking, you can certainly unmute if you need to ask a question. But if you're not, if you don't mind, please putting yourself on mute because I'm hearing some backbeat. So I think some of you are unmuted accidentally. So if you can please mute. And I'm not sure if it's Alma or Eric that have the power to mute people. So if you can do that in case someone's accidentally unmuted, that would be great. And we'll go ahead and get started. We do have a pretty full agenda, and I do want to leave some time at the end to be able to have you ask any questions you may have, any general questions. But I think a lot of your questions may get answered through some of the presentations we have here today. So that's why we always leave the question and answer session for the end of the Coffee with the Principal. But last night, we had our Spanish version of Coffee with the Principal. We had really good attendance. I think we had almost 60 parents that attended, which is great. And we are looking at providing the English version in the evening as well. So it seems like we have more and more families that it's very difficult for them to join during the day. Again, Eric, for Alma, if one of you have power to mute everyone, just because I'm getting a lot of backbeat. I think some are still unmuted. And so that is something that we're looking to make change for in February. So we are going to have still an English version of Coffee with the Principal and a Spanish, but it looks like they'll both be in the evening on different days, but they'll still be in the evening. It seems like we have more people that can join us at that time. I know we may not be able to pick a day and time that works for everyone's schedule. I know there might be people here that say, oh, mornings work so much better for me. But again, we go with the numbers and we still will record these sessions and make them available to all of our parents in case you're not able to attend. Now, as we get going with the agenda, I do want to remind everyone that if you do need Spanish translation, you can just click on the interpretation icon at the bottom of your screen. Si alguien necesita interpretación en español, por favor vaya al botón aquí abajo de su pantalla que dice interpretación y oprima el español o Spanish y va a escuchar la sesión de café con la directora en español. Entonces pueden hacer eso ahorita, vayan abajo de su pantalla donde dice interpretación y opriman Spanish o español y van a escuchar la sesión en español. Okay, so we will go ahead and move on with our agenda. So we do have one of our presenters today. We have a few different presenters. We are going to go on to Ms. Morris, who's going to talk to us about our ASB, our Associated Student Body. She has several different announcements. So if we can, Eric, move on to the next slide, please. And Ms. Morris, you have the floor.
All right, thank you. Good morning, everyone. Happy New Year. Thanks for joining us for Coffee with the Principal. My name is Ms. Morris. I'm your Assistant Principal of Student Activities. Basically, what I'm going to be presenting today is information regarding seniors. It is second semester of senior year, and so I know our seniors are really excited to finish their high school career strong. If you don't have a senior, this information is still very valuable because as your student becomes a senior, we'll go over this again and again. And then also if you have any friends, family friends who have seniors here at Sweetwater High, you can share this information as well. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and what you can see here is the class of 22 informational memo. I have sent this memo out twice already, just in November and December via email. I sent it through Jupiter Grades and Infinite Campus. I'll be sending it throughout second semester as well as we continue to get updates. And when I do send it out, I'll send it through Jupiter Grades, I'll send it through Infinite Campus, and I'll also send a text through Infinite Campus to you and to the student to please check your email for updates on the senior memo. In addition, when you do get updates, you'll see right here, any updates will be highlighted in yellow along with the date. So then that way it is easier for you to see any changes that have happened. And so very quickly, I'll be going over some of the information here. In addition, just so that you're aware, I'm scheduled to go to the government and economics classes next week on Thursday and Friday, and I'll be presenting all this information directly to our senior students as well as giving them a few handouts. And then I'll be sending this email out again with all the updated information to all families. First off, we do have information about yearbooks. Yearbooks are available for purchase now at the ASB for $65 until April 3rd, and then the price does go up to $75 after spring break. Yearbooks are distributed in late May. Thank you. Just a quick shout out to Ms. Rosenbach, our yearbook advisor, and our yearbook staff for all their continued hard work, making our yearbook special and memorable. Grad night and prom. Grad night, we are still currently on for both grad night and prom. If anything is to change, please note that your senior will be able to receive a full refund for any purchases, for tickets purchased for grad night or for prom. This year's grad night, it will take place on Friday, May 13th, and it will be at Disneyland. Our students are very excited. The cost is $260 and it is payable to the ASB. Unfortunately, Disneyland passes do not apply per Disneyland. They do not accept Disneyland passes for grad night, so you do have to pay the full price. It includes the park hopper ticket, the grad night festivities, and it includes the charter bus transportation from Sweetwater High to Disneyland and back. We do have we do have payment plans available. That information is right here, so that way you can talk with your student about it. In addition, there is a permission slip that needs to be signed, and your student can pick that up in the ASB. ASB, we will be we are accepting grad night payments already. So there's only 200 spots available. So please have your student, if your student's interested in going, please have them come by the ASB to reserve their spot. As far as prom, the location and the date are still to be determined. It is going to be in May. The cost is typically between $60 and $80. Just want to give you that information now, so that way we're aware of all the costs associated with second semester senior year. Senior clearances is very important. Seniors do need to clear in order to participate in the graduation ceremony, in order to walk. Seniors will receive their diploma if they're not cleared, but they will not be able to participate. They will not be able to walk with us. So I want to give you that information now. Clearances include library fines and overdue books. So please encourage your senior to go to the library and start checking and taking care of those overdue books and fines. And then also returning any uniforms, equipment, instruments to any coaches or their visual and performing arts directors. Graduation 2022. At this time, a date and time for graduation is still being determined. However, please note that high schools, we do typically hold our ceremonies during the last week of school. And even more so, they're usually on that Thursday or Friday of the last week of school, June 2nd or June 3rd. It is not for sure yet, but I just wanted to give you that information for planning purposes. At this time, we are expecting to host our graduation here on site at Sweetwater High. We should have more information by the end of this month. And as soon as I do, I will update it right here, highlight in yellow, and then send it out to families with that updated date and updated information. Graduation items. This is a big one, cap and gown. To purchase a cap, gown, and tassel, it costs $25. It must be ordered before April 3rd. Again, when I go to the senior, do the senior presentations next week in the government and econ classes, I'll be handing out paper order forms for students to complete and submit. We will be giving out, we will have an opportunity to borrow a cap and gown. If you do not want to buy a cap and gown, you can borrow a cap and gown from us. But regardless of whether you borrow or buy, all seniors must submit a cap and gown order form. So that way we order the appropriate size. And then just please note that, and I'll let seniors know this as well, students may not decorate their caps. We do want everyone to look uniform at the graduation ceremony. It is a formal ceremony. And then also please note that you do have to wear a cap and gown from this year. Sometimes there's subtle changes in the color red. And so we want everyone to look the same and not have slightly different shades of red. So you cannot wear a cap and gown from like an older brother or sister. It has to, or an older family member. It does have to be a cap and gown from this year, which is why we have the opportunity for loaners if you need so. Class rings, announcements, and other graduation items. This flyer is attached so that way you can see options to purchase class rings. We work with the company Balfour for graduation items, class rings, announcements, and other things. And so I've included their information here on their website so that you can, peruse those items on your own time. Letterman jackets are also available. We also work with Balfour for Letterman jackets. For patches for the Letterman jackets, those are through the ASB, and your student would need to bring the athletic certificate just to verify that your student was involved in the sport, was a varsity captain, so on and so forth. And so we honor the integrity of those patches for the Letterman jackets. That's really all the information that I have. Again, I'll be sending this update frequently to your email as I get more information, and I'll be presenting to seniors next week. I will leave my email in the chat, and of course, you're welcome to email me at any time. At this moment, are there any questions that I can answer for the group? Okay, well, thank you so much. And again, Happy New Year, everyone.
Thank you, Ms. Morris. And just like everything else, like Ms. Morris said regarding ASB and Mr. Garcia, our head counselor, is going to talk to you about what's going on in the counseling center now. For all of our topics, we will always send you updated information, which is why it's always important that you check your email. We try to send it through Infinite Campus and Jupiter Grades. So it's always so important you check those. I know sometimes you may get a lot of information from us, but always read the subject line. And if it's something that you know you need to read it, or set it aside and read it at a later time. But I always think it's better to over communicate than not communicate enough. So we apologize for all the emails, but we want to keep you informed always. Next, we have our head counselor, Mr. Marco Garcia, who's going to give us a counseling center update.
Good morning, parents. Yes, my name is Marco Garcia, counselor here at Sweetwater High School, and it's always a pleasure to be here with you parents at this meeting, Coffee with the Parents. So just a few updates from our counseling department. For our seniors, I kind of want to start off with information for our seniors, since they are our students that are about to graduate. So we still want to let seniors know and parents know that the FAFSA application is not due until March 2nd. So we have a little time to continue to work on that. That's important just because we want all of our seniors to get all the financial aid and help that they can receive for their future endeavors, whether it be community college, four-year university, trade schools, whatnot. FAFSA is there for them. It's government money that is available to all of our students. So it's important that that application is filled out. The application can be a little extensive. It asks for a lot of information. Parents need to be involved in this application process because it does ask for some tax information. So please help and support your child as they are filling out their FAFSA. And if you guys need any help, know that counselors are here to help always with FAFSA applications. Also for our seniors, community college applications are open. So I know a good percentage of our seniors move on to community college after high school. So the Southwestern College, which is one of our feeder community colleges, they have their application available. San Diego City College, Grossmont, all the surrounding community colleges have their applications open. That window is open for students to start submitting that if that is their choice and that is what they want to do after high school. So we also provide help with that. At some point, we may have a Southwestern College representative here on site like we do every year, but with everything that's going on right now, as you guys know, with COVID and everything happening, a lot of things are changing, but we hope to have a Southwestern College representative here on campus in the next month or so to provide that support. One more thing, if you're the parent of a senior and they submitted an application to a four-year university, one of our Cal States or one of our UCs, check your email, have them check their email because they are sending out acceptance notices now. So we want all of our seniors that did send those out to be alert and to be vigilant of their email to be sure that they get those notices of acceptances. Those are for our students who sent applications out to the 4 years, to the four-year universities. Credit recovery. So I know we are starting the second semester. First semester just ended in December. And unfortunately, a lot of our students possibly receive D's and F's in their first semester classes. So just know there is an opportunity to make up those grades, those D's and F's through our credit recovery program. Credit recovery will be starting at some point in February. The date is not, we have not identified the date yet, but just know that that will be happening. And we also have summer school. It's a little early to talk about summer school, but I just want to let you know that there is credit recovery options for your students if they did fail or received a D in a class. I know a lot is happening during this time. I know some students may have to be home, may have to quarantine, and I know during first semester that may have affected some of those grades. So if you find that your child is in that situation, just know that credit recovery is an option. Have them come talk to the counselors if they have any questions. And we also wanted to let you guys know that counselors are conducting counselor chats. We have counselor chats. They're kind of informal little meetings, kind of like this, to be honest with you. Informal little meetings we have with counselors where parents can jump on. The next one is February 24th. It is in a virtual model like this. And we talk about everything that has to do with counseling, everything that our counseling department is doing a little more in depth during that time where we're able to talk about, things in detail. So the next one is February 24th. I didn't put the time there, but it is at 9 o'clock. So you guys are welcome to that. And I hope you guys can make it to that then. Pre-registration. So as you guys know, and I know you guys heard Ms. Deb Morris talk about everything that's coming up as we near the end of the year. So this year is flying. It's flying and it'll be over before you know it. Just like every year, right? It seems like these years are just going by really fast. One moment it's July and we're starting first semester. Next minute it's already June and we're talking about graduation, right? So just know that in the next month, in the month of February, we're also going to start pre-registration, which means that counselors will begin to meet with students underclassmen to start to choose their classes for this next year. So that's a very important time for students, because that's where they start to look to next year and start to figure out what classes they will be taking next year. So this is a good time for parents and students to talk about what those options are, what the student wants to focus on. Does a student want to start in one of our academy classes next year? Does a student want to take a certain VAPA, folklorico, band, choir? So this is the time to start thinking about classes for next year, because we will be meeting with them soon. And the last thing I just want to let parents know, and I always let you guys know, that your counselors are here for you. We're here for our students. We're here for our parents. We're here for the community, right? It's a collective effort, and we work jointly with our administration. So all of us are working together. These are crazy times, to say the least. I don't have to elaborate on that, because I think Dr. Gavin's going to talk a little bit more about some of those things in a second. But I know these are wild times right now. So just know that your counseling department is here for you, for our students, for their academic support. We're here, everything that has to do with career, and definitely with mental health as well. That's something we're experiencing a lot right now with the things that are going on. We're seeing that a lot of our students are kind of struggling in the areas of mental health. We're seeing a lot of depression. We're seeing a lot of anxiety. We're seeing a lot of that right now. So that's something we're really tackling head on, just to make sure that our students are safe, that our students are well, and that our students are comfortable. So please feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions. That's really all that I have. Those are all the updates that I have. If anybody has any questions, you can unmute yourself and you can ask, or you can put it in the chat. Okay, so I see Ms. Erica Castro put, how about new students? When can we register the 9th grade students? So is this an incoming 9th grader, or is this a 9th grader that's going to be a 10th grader? So if this is an incoming 9th grader, counselors do go out to the feeder schools. Okay, so an incoming 9th grader. So I'm assuming this is a current 8th grader who is at national. So counselors will be going out to the feeder schools, and we do our pre-reg presentation to them. And at that point is where the counselors are able to talk to them about their classes, their 9th grade classes, and we are able to pick their elective at that point. And students are able to look off of a list, and they are able to pick a class that they are interested in. So we will be meeting with all of our feeder school students at some point in the month of, I believe, March is when we'll start meeting with our feeder school students. You're welcome.
Okay.
And again, if you can't think of a question right now, just feel free to come in and you can ask us as soon as something comes up. We're here for you guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Garcia. Yes, we always like to reiterate this over and over so you don't forget. You don't have to ask all your questions during the meeting. A lot of times what happens to me, I leave a meeting and think, oh, I forgot to ask that one important question. Give us a call later in the day. Give us a call next week. Email us. Emails a lot of times works quicker, more effectively. But again, counselors are always there to support our students, our parents, our staff. So please reach out. All right, we're going to continue with our presentation here. We have our Parent Center updates, which Mr. Toms is going to go through with all of us right now.
Hi, good morning, everybody. I'm Mr. Toms, categorical office. I'm going to go through the Parent Center or the Parent Newsletter. Thank you, Mr. Hernandez. If you look at the Parent Newsletter, can be found on the school website under the under Parents. Yeah, there you go. Thank you, Mr. Hernandez. So if you click on that on the school website, you can come to the Parent Newsletter. There are a couple new features on the Parent Newsletter. If you look in the top right-hand corner, it'll say Directorio. If you can click on that for me, Mr. Hernandez. Now, this is a new feature on the Parent Newsletter. So if you look, it has a directory of everybody, all the staff members in the working at the school. You have the main office, you have the administration, you have the assistants, you have the attendants, Yeah, special education department. And then the registration, counseling center. All of these in the directory, you have everybody's name, you have the title, you have the phone numbers, you have their emails. So if you need to get a hold of anybody at all working at the school, you can go through the directory, and it's really a good tool to use, because I know a lot of times when I'm looking for, somebody's name or how to get a hold of them, they don't have a lot of information. So this has all of their emails and a lot of times the phone numbers down there to get a hold of them. So if you need to get a hold of anybody at the school, please go to the parent newsletter and the directory section, top right-hand corner of the newsletter. Thank you, Mr. Hernandez. We can go back to the front page. Also, the bell schedule. We have added, Ms. Martinez has added the times down to the bell schedule. So it's not only just what schedule, like schedule A, schedule B, but now they have the times and the periods for each day. So if you look, you'll see all of January is filled out. So you or your student can figure out exactly the schedule for every day of the month. We can keep going, Mr. Hernandez, thanks. And we'll have our monthly principal's message right after that from Dr. Gavin. Information about now the advanced placement test is coming up. Enrollment is already like almost, if you can see, student invoices request for late registration go through February 16th. So it's really coming down to it. If you have a student in the advanced placement program and they're planning on taking an AP test this year, you really need to get your application in. All right. And then you have your counseling message here. And again, you have the counselors there where you can, they're also in the directory that we just put in. We have our integrated services update. The LPAC test will begin in February. So if your student is an EL, please, we're trying to prepare them for the LPAC and hopefully reclassification. We keep going. All the parent meetings, we have the parent committee members here. I think Ms. Gomez is in this meeting. So thank you, Ms. Gomez, for showing up. Always have coffee with the principal flyers. This is the one that you guys are in the meet right now. We will have the February one up. February coffee with the principal is February 4th. So please put that on your calendar. Also, we have Healthy Talks with Dr. Gavin. They're on Wednesdays from 8 o'clock to 8:45 a.m. It's a walk around the campus where you have a chance to just kind of interact with Dr. Gavin in a very casual setting. Please make sure to bring a mask though, because we still do mask outside during this Healthy Talk. And also, it's 8 o'clock in the morning, so you might want to dress warm, but it is a walk around the campus. So you might want to wear some comfortable shoes. And it takes, I don't know, about 15 to 30 minutes, Dr. Gavin, somewhere around that. All right. And the parent meeting, we have parent meetings Thursday, 10 to 11 a.m. They are Zoom meetings. And if you can scroll down just a little bit, there you go. Okay. So January 20th is our next parent meeting. So please put that on your calendar and scroll back up just a second. There you go. SSC. So we have our school site council meeting, and that is January 27th. And everybody is welcome to attend the SSC. It is, again, a Zoom meeting. You will not be able to vote on any of the items unless you're a member of the SSC council, but you are able to give input and ask questions and just see how the SSC works. And then the SSC shows where a lot of our federal funding goes to. That's where we decide what programs we're going to fund and how it affects our students' achievement. We have ELAC and Title I meetings the next day. And everybody, again, please, you're more than welcome to attend ELAC and Title I. Again, it shows a lot of times where our funding goes and how we assist our EL students. We have a parent committee meeting, not this month. It'll be February 22nd. Thank you, Mr. Hernandez. You keep going. Okay. And then we just have attendance, athletics. We should have, keep going. We don't have our athletic calendar there, but, and we have restorative practices message down here as well. Does anybody have any questions about the parent newsletter? Ms. Martinez has done a great job with this parent newsletter. If you have any questions, her number's there at the bottom, and she also has her email there. Thank you all very much for coming to this Coffee with the Principal. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Tom. Thank you, Mr. Toms. We're going to now transition to another presenter. We have a special guest here, a couple of special guests. We have Elise Bryant and Jenny Barajas. They're going to talk to us about special events and projects that are going through Olivewood Gardens.
Good morning. Thank you for having us.
Good morning.
So I am Jenny Barajas. I'm the Garden Support Manager at Olivewood Gardens and Learning Center, which is right walking distance from your children's high school. And we're really happy to be here. I'm here with my colleague, Elise.
Good morning. I'm the teen and adult program specialist, so I will be working with Jenny on these programs. So I'm going to let her take the lead.
And so I'm glad. Thank you for putting up our website here. I was just going to talk about a few of our high school programs and opportunities that we have for your students. The programs that we have here at Olivewood are absolutely fun, high quality programs that look good on a student's resume and college application. As well, it helps to fulfill community service hours if your student has community service hours they need to complete. A few of the key programs that we have right now, it's pretty exciting, is our high school clubhouse. And so our high school clubhouse is a monthly meeting where kids come into the garden after school. I'm going to drop in the chat links to the programs that we currently have open. So the clubhouse registration form is right there. Every month on the fourth Wednesday of the month, we have a clubhouse where kids come to the gardens just to spend some time outdoors in nature. We have a couple of hands-on activities. One of them is nutrition related, food related. And so this month, January, the theme is tacos and terrariums. So the nutrition component of that is veggie tacos, which are very popular here at Olivewood Gardens. So students will come and help themselves to a little taco with salsa and all the different fun veggie items for that. And then also have the opportunity to make a terrarium with some succulents and soil. And, studies show that humans who are outside in nature have happier hearts, whether we feel it or not. It's really good for us. And so getting high school students into the gardens and around nature is really important for happy students. Another program that we have right now, we have applications open for one of our high school internships called Garden to Kitchen. And our Garden to Kitchen internship is a Tuesday opportunity in the evenings from 4 o'clock until 6 o'clock. It runs for 8 weeks. And in that program, high school students will spend some time in the garden learning how to grow things that would be that are culturally appropriate, are seasonal, and that can be easily grown in at homes of any type, whether it be apartments or grandparents or a friend's home or in a backyard, things like herbs and greens. As well as we like to ask the students what they're interested in growing, and they spend time in the garden, and then they with me, and then they spend time with Elise in our outdoor kitchen, creating recipes that they can make with their family at home. So it's a really fun opportunity to connect sort of where food grows to the plate. And so it's one of our really popular programs. It is in high demand, actually. So we are not doing we're doing 2 cohorts. So our first cohort starts at the end of January 25th for 8 weeks. And then Suhai goes on spring break. Once spring break is over, we're starting a second cohort of interns to do a second program. So that's another opportunity. We have our social justice coalition beginning in the next couple of months, and students have the opportunity to take action in their communities. So gather community input and learn resources here at Olivewood Gardens by listening to community partners who are making change in San Diego and in South Bay and in National City, and in order to sort of like make a formulated plan to take action in regards to food justice, anything that encompasses social justice. And so that's another opportunity that is here at the Gardens. As well as our Sustainable Urban Agriculture internship. We are doing an extended internship for this opportunity, and our cohort has begun, but there is room if any students are interested in learning about ornamental plants, which is really trendy right now, and growing in a nursery. They're also getting some entrepreneurship skills in this, because at the end of our 20-week internship, students will be running a plant sale. So our Sustainable Urban Agriculture internship will have a stipend. So there is a little money in it. But students are really getting to learn how to propagate plants that they see in their neighborhoods and might have growing at their homes already, in order to make more plants, and also to form plans to start their own business if that's something that they'd like to do in the future. So I know that's a lot. There's a lot of opportunities there. I see on our screen, we do have our website up. So, visiting the website, or you can email me. My email address is in the chat, along with our internship forms and our Clubhouse registration form. We'd like to kindly ask that if you would like to sign up your student to, forward the application form to your student, because there are questions that we would like for them to answer. And, just to be sure that this is a really good fit for their needs. And as far as this internship goes, we will be selecting students to do a small interview, and then making selections for our 2 cohorts in the next couple of weeks.
Great. Thank you both.
Thank you.
We've always enjoyed our relationship with Olivewood Gardens. You've always provided so much for our students, our community, our families. I know it was, I think a few years ago, we had many of our students that were, I'm not sure if it was an internship or courses they were taking there, where again, they were growing their own food and then learning how to use those items to make these wonderful dishes. And I was asked to go and be a judge for the cooking competition. And let me tell you, that was some quality food. It was so good. So just letting you know, I'm always available to be a judge if that comes up
Wonderful.
again.
That was our garden to kitchen internship.
Yes,
and
Mhm.
yeah, and a lot of our high school students are asking to learn how to cook healthy recipes that they can share with their family. And so it's really neat to see how excited they are to be in the kitchen and creating sort of like with their imagination too. So I'm glad you enjoyed that.
Oh yes, it wasn't just the flavors, the taste of the food that was great, but the presentation. I mean, it was just very, very much like more than restaurant quality. It was just like a professional, a chef presenting a beautiful dish. It was great.
Very cool. Thank you.
Right,
Thanks for your time.
Of course. Thank you for joining us. All right. So we're going to move along with our agenda. We are now going to go on to our COVID update. So I know a lot of you have had questions or are still wondering, and I want to let you know the presentation or the updates I'm going to give you now, that's what's in place right now. And just like everything else we've presented today, like from the Counseling Center, ASB, as we get new information, we're always going to send you updates, which is why it's so important you check your email, you read those updates. I know you may get a lot of emails, a lot of information from us, but like I've said before, I'd rather over communicate than not communicate enough and have too many people have questions. So I'm going to go over some of our more recent. So the first one is Assembly Bill 1667. So this came from our Governor Newsom, the state of California. Assembly Bill 167 is that even though we've been putting our students that have come down with COVID on independent studies for the time that they have COVID, it's not like they go on independent studies for a long time. But because they can't be in school, they're under quarantine, we put them on an independent study contract. Teachers give them the work, or they can access the work via Google Classroom, and students do the work from home. But it's a way to make sure that the students have work while they're at home, and if they're well enough to do the work, they can do it, submit it, and get credit. And their attendance will be excused because they were on independent studies during that time due to COVID. Now, the missing component was that they weren't getting that live instruction, right? We know it's not the same to, be at home doing the work and not get that live instruction. Now, what the AB 167 states is that effective January 19th, which is next Wednesday, all students who are quarantined at home due to COVID, only because they have COVID, they will get 20 minutes of instruction for every class on block days. So Tuesday through Friday, like today is a 2-4-6 day, students who are home under quarantine due to COVID are able to sync into their classroom. The teacher provides a meeting link through Google Meet, and they're able to get 20 minutes of instruction. Now, it's not one-on-one because, as you know, the teacher's already in the classroom with the class of students, but they turn on the classroom link, and the student at home is able to listen to the direct instruction, and they get the resources online through Google Meet, and they're able to get the instruction and direction they need to be able to do that work at home. So that's 20 minutes for each block class each day, Tuesday through Friday. On Mondays, when we have periods 1 through 6, it's because those are shorter periods, the teachers will have synchronous instruction for the students at home for about 10 to 15 minutes. Now, I always encourage students to please check their Google Classroom for assignments and the synchronous instruction links, but more for the assignments. Teachers also post their presentations, like their PowerPoint slides, any upcoming tests, information they need, resources. That's all in Google Classroom. So they have access to that. And the final last thing that students and parents can do is communicate with teachers. So you can email the teacher and let them know if you still have questions. So maybe you go to the synchronous instruction link and you are getting that instruction daily for about 20 minutes each day in each class, but then maybe you still have questions, and that's okay. You probably should have questions. Email your teacher saying, I didn't get this part, or can you please look at my assignment and let me know if I did this correctly? Is that good, or do I need to redo it? So keep that line of communication open with teachers regarding the academics in the classroom. Now, when students come back from being out due to COVID, or for any reason, let's say they're out because they're sick, they didn't have COVID, but they had a cold, they had the flu, they had a stomach ache. So whenever a student is out and it's excused, the teacher gives them the same amount of time equal to the number of days that they were out to submit their work. So let's say a student is out for 5 school days, then the student, when they come back, they have 5 school days to make up the work they missed and turn it in. Now, if they're at home because they are sick, but they're well enough to do the work, it's better if they do it along the way and not wait until they come back, because then they're doing the work they missed for the last 5 days, and they're also doing the work, that is expected of them to complete while they're here in school. But just know that you do have that right, and it is in our education code that if a student is out for any reason and it's excused, they have the same number of days they were out to make up that work when they come back. And let's say a student needs an extension. So let's say they were out 5 days, they come back and and they're trying to get all their work done and submitted in 5 days, but they don't quite get to it or meet it. They need like 1 or 2 more days. Again, communicate with your teachers. I don't know of any teacher that's going to say no. If you ask, hey, is there any way I can have 1 more day or 2 more days to submit it? I'm working on it, but I just couldn't get to it. They will probably say yes. So it's just better if you let them know, because if you don't turn it in by the deadline, they may assume you're just not going to do it. But if you let them know you need an extension, they're probably going to give it to you. So please make sure you communicate with them. All right. Next, we have our COVID protocols. So our safety and health protocols have been in place since we returned after we were coming back from distance learning. So the same rules apply. This isn't something new. We must wear masks indoors. We wear masks indoors at all times, whether you're in a classroom, if you walk into the main building, if you go into the locker room, if you go into the cafeteria, into a bathroom, you have to wear your mask indoors. And that is something we remind students at all times. Also, even though it's not mandated that they wear it outside, we do recommend to students, and if you were to be here, you'd see that most students wear it outside, which is great, because we have so many students here, when they're outside for nutrition break or lunch and they're with their friends, sometimes they're gathering in pretty large groups. So we tell them it's probably best if you have your mask on. Of course, if you're going to eat your lunch, you take off your mask, you eat, but as soon as you're done eating, put it back on. I wear my mask outside all the time because sometimes I have a student come right up to me to ask me a question. And so, I always like to be protected. Okay, just a reminder, if everyone can put themselves on mute, I'm getting some back feed. I think a couple of people might be unmuted accidentally. So if you can please put yourself on mute, just double check. Thank you. And the final thing we also remind them to do is to be socially distanced. Make sure that they'll try to stay at least 6 feet apart. I know it's easier said than done because they're with their friends and they think that nothing is wrong with their friends. And that's the thing. Sometimes people will be on campus not knowing they have something like COVID because they're not experiencing symptoms yet. So it's best if everyone uses these protections. And finally, moving along with the COVID safety and health protocols, we remind everyone, and I'm reminding parents, please help us out. If your student is experiencing any symptoms, whether it's a fever, a stomach ache, a sore throat, a cough, a scratchy throat, body aches, please have your students stay home. What we've had happen in the past is that a student will come to school and, usually some of you see me out in front of the school, they'll come up to me and say, hey, Dr. Gavin, so I'm feeling a little, a scratchy throat and I have some body aches. Can I have the nurse check me out? I tell them, you don't have to have the nurse check you out. You need to go home. If you have symptoms, there's nothing the nurse is going to do. She's not a doctor. She's not going to perform a test. If you have symptoms, you go home. We don't test students for COVID on campus. I mean, unless they're part of sports and the visual and performing arts, they do test weekly, twice a week actually. But other than that, we don't test students. If you're feeling symptoms, you stay home and you go get tested somewhere in the community to confirm that you don't have COVID, or if you do, then we follow the protocol. It's important you get tested if you feel you might have something, and then you can return to school once if you are negative and you no longer have symptoms. So let's say you go get tested and it comes back negative, great. But if you still have symptoms, you don't come to school, you still stay home. And once the symptoms go away, because it's probably a cold or the flu, right? So you stay home, and once you're done, then you come back. So just because it's not COVID doesn't mean you can come back to school if you have symptoms. Now, if you have symptoms and you go get tested and it is COVID, then you need to stay home for 10 days. It's not 10 school days, it's 10 cumulative days. So let's say today is day 1. Let's say today you have symptoms. And let's say you go get tested on Sunday and you get the results on Monday. Does anyone know when day 1 starts? What's day 1 when you start counting the 10 days? Is it when you have symptoms? Is it when you got tested? Or is it when you get the results? It's whichever comes first, because some people get tested first and then they experience symptoms. So day one starts on whichever came first, when you got tested and tested positive, or when you started experiencing symptoms. So if you started experiencing symptoms today, Friday, then Friday, today is the 14th, then that's day one. Okay, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. That means Monday would be day 11. That means you would come back on the 24th. So on January 24th, and looking at my calendar, would be day 11. That's when you can come back to school as long as you don't have symptoms. Now, this is a lot of information to memorize, to remember, and it changes, right? It changes, which is why we're here for you. Please contact the school. You can, I have parents and students too, which is great. They email me or they call the school. There is always someone here to clarify. So that is something that we are here to do. Now I see a question in the chat. My son is in robotics Monday through Friday till 6 p.m. and never gets tested. Do they not qualify to get tested? So I asked the same question, and apparently, and we're going to double check again, but apparently they get tested if they're going to go to a competition. But while they're here at school, because we also have, I'm going to double check because we do have our after school program also. And I want to see if it's a consistent group that meets, you know, even if they don't meet every day, but they meet consistently a few times a week. So I am still checking on robotics and any other group on campus that's, you know, similar to athletics and our visual and performing arts, where it's a group of the same students that meet and should they get tested. So I am looking into that. And then finally, I do want to let you know the best thing, and I know we all may have our different ideas or philosophies, but what we are still pushing is for students to get vaccinated. And if they're already vaccinated, they do qualify to get their booster. So we are having a special event next Saturday the 22nd. I'm not sure if we're able to display the flyer on screen, but it's January 22nd. It's on a Saturday from 8 to 3 p.m. We're going to have a special event hosted by the city. So the mayor of National City, Ms. Alejandra Sotero Solis, was able to get vaccinations and booster shots. And we're going to have them here on our campus in the new gym on Saturday, the 22nd from 8 to 3. It's for National City residents. So students and their families qualify. You can come over to the new gym. Our parking lot on 28th and F will be open. That's where you can park. Thank you, Eric. That is our flyer. So if you want to take a screenshot of that, we also sent this home. We emailed it and we'll email it again next week as a reminder. But as you can see, it's anyone 12 and over that are eligible to either get their first vaccine. So if they need their first shot or if they need their booster. If you're coming to get your booster, make sure you bring your vaccination card with you because they're going to need to see evidence that you already got your first and second shot. But if you haven't gotten any of them, you could get your first shot here, and then they'll let you know when you're going to get your second shot. So again, this is something we're promoting because, you know, I think it's one of the best ways to try to avoid the spread. And what we're seeing mostly with anyone contracting COVID is that they're getting it outside of school. They're not getting it here in school necessarily. It's outside. And because we came from holiday break, as you have seen on the news, I'm sure, throughout our county, throughout our nation, we've had many more cases of the Omicron variant because we, you know, had families and friends gather over the holiday. So that's why we've seen so many more cases. The good thing I'm hearing is that they believe that the peak, when we're going to peak, is January 19th, which is next Wednesday, that's when we're going to get the most number of cases, and that as quickly as we had this surge of cases, it's going to go back down pretty quickly as well. But again, we can't let our guard down. We can't assume this is going to go away. It's been almost 2 years. I remember when in March of 2020, we were told that, hey, we're going to go on break for 3 weeks instead of 2 weeks for spring break because of COVID. Everyone at the time thought, oh, we'll be back in April. And look where we are now. So it's, very important we continue to do what we can to fight this and to protect ourselves. As much as we're hearing that Omicron will start to not be as prevalent and will start going away a bit, something else is going to come up. I mean, it seems like COVID is here for quite some time, so it's best if we protect ourselves. So again, if you have any questions, there are a couple of numbers there. Operation Samahan from across the street, they're the ones that got the vaccinations for us, which is great. And you can call and ask any specific details. But my understanding is that this is for the National City community, and it's not just Sweetwater High School students and their families being invited, but Granger, National City Middle School, we're all invited to come in and get that shot. Okay, at this time, I always try to anticipate the questions and try to answer your questions. At this time, are there any questions? You can either raise your hand or you can unmute, or you can put it in the chat box. And you can put it in English or Spanish. You can ask your question in English or Spanish. I can do both.
Dr. Gavin, this is Denise.
Yes.
I just wanted to let the parents a friendly reminder that I'm still missing a lot of attendance.
yeah.
And I put the link, and I also messaged every parent individually, but I haven't received many responses.
Okay, thank you so much, Denise. I'm sorry I didn't do this from the very beginning. Yes, it's so important that you please, Denise just put it in the link right now, or Alma just put it in the link. Please click on the link right now. So if we can all do that right now, that really helps us out, because we need evidence that our parents are attending these meetings. That's why we're able to still provide the meetings, because when we submit or we look at our attendance sheet, if it looks like 2 parents attended, you know, we're going to be asked why we keep holding these meetings if we don't have parents attending. So please make sure you sign in. It takes about 10 or 15 seconds to do it. It's a very simple form. Just click on the link that Ms. Martinez put in the chat right now, and it'll take you 10 to 15 seconds. Please do that right now. There it is. Are there any other questions? Anyone who wants to unmute, raise their hand, or ask in the chat? Yes, and again, you can ask any questions, not just COVID-related questions. Yes, you took the words right out of my mouth, Ms. Joanna. Yes, I was actually going to talk to the team about preparing. We're going to start preparing our honor roll and principal's honor roll. So students who met the qualifications because of the December report card, we're going to start running those lists so we can put those posters up in our 100 building hallway, and then we're going to give out certificates to our students. It's something we do at the end of every semester. If students earn a 3.5 to a 3.74 GPA, they're on the honor roll. If they earn a 3.75 or above, they're on the principal's honor roll. These are really honorable distinctions and something great they can add to their college applications. So we're going to make sure we get that going again very soon. Thank you.
Dr. Gavin, there's a question directly to me from Ms. Lopez. Is going virtually in the future for the students?
Not right now. So that's another really good question. Right now, our district is not looking at going virtually. The only way or reason we would go virtual, back to distance learning, is if we didn't have enough staff on campus to sustain instruction in person. So let's say, I mean, I hope this doesn't happen, but let's say we had 50 or 60 teachers that are out due to COVID, then that's when we would go to distance learning, because we don't have enough people. Right now, we have, when teachers are out for any reason, we do have substitutes, and sometimes we have our own teachers that cover classes for their colleagues. But so right now we are able to sustain in person. And although some parents have asked, you know, is there any way I can keep my student at home for this month or until this is over? The answer is no. Unfortunately, we can't do independent studies. We can't do long-term independent studies. If you want to do long-term independent studies, like you're no longer coming to Sweetwater, that's through the district. You're no longer a student at Sweetwater. And the only short-term independent studies we're doing right now is for students who have COVID, but they're out for, you know, the 10 calendar days, not even school days, but 10 calendar days, because that includes weekends. And once they're better, they come back to school. So right now we are looking at going virtual. Are there any other questions? Okay, look at this, magical. It's 9:30. You're very, very punctual. Again, reminder, if you come up with a question even 1 hour after our meeting is over, please reach out to any of our staff. You've gotten to know a lot of our staff, myself, Mr. Toms, Ms. Martinez, Ms. Iniguez, Mr. Hernandez, and all our counselors. I mean, we have a lot of staff here to support you. And if you don't know who to ask for, all you have to do is either email any one of us, or you can call the school, and the person who answers the phone can listen to your question. And based on your question, they'll know who to refer you to. All right, that's the bell. So call the school. If you don't know who to ask for, just call the school and tell them, here's my question. Who can I talk to answer my question? And they'll connect you to the right person. And whether you're an English speaker, Spanish speaker, again, you can call the school and we'll connect you to someone who can answer your question. We're always here to serve you. A reminder, and I don't want to sound like a mom, please keep protecting yourselves, stay safe, stay healthy. I know sometimes we get invitations to go to gatherings. I know it's difficult for me, but I say no. I'm going to stay home. I don't want to get sick because I want to continue coming to school to protect our students and be here for our staff and students. So please keep being safe, protect yourselves, protect your students, remind them about wearing their mask. If they hear it at home and they hear it here at school, then they're more likely to do it all the time. And I see a question there regarding yearbook pre-ordering. Can we do it online? If I know Miss Morris put her contact information in, so I can put it in here again. If you wouldn't mind emailing her, because she's the one that presented on yearbooks and pre-ordering. So if you can email her, she can respond to you right away. Or you can also call the ASB. I can give you her direct line. That's her direct line. If she doesn't answer the phone, you can leave her a voicemail and she'll call you back. Oh, there's the information. Thank you, Eric. So Eric just put the ASB update, the information. So if you click on that link, it'll give you all the updates that Ms. Morris went over. But if the update still doesn't answer your question, please give her a call or send her an email. If you send her an email, she'll probably be faster than the phone call. Sometimes voicemails, you know, it takes more time to go through them, but either way, she will get back to you as soon as possible. Great, everyone. Thank you. It's always a pleasure to see our parents. And sorry about that. I put myself on mute and all our staff are laughing because we just had a really loud announcement. So I couldn't even hear myself. But I again want to thank you all for your participation, for your involvement in our school. I'll share this with you. We had our WASC visit a couple months ago in November, and that's the Western Association of Schools and Colleges. And it's a group of educators from the state of California that visit us about every 6 years. Because we're an accredited high school, we have to get an accreditation at least every 6 years because that's what puts value on the diploma. We can't give out our diplomas unless we're accredited. So when they visited us, they had some really good comments about what, and they gave us kind of like our own report card. They tell us what looks great, what is really going well at Sweetwater, what's looking really good, and then some areas for improvement, which we identified, and they agreed. We identified the areas for improvement where we feel like we can do better, and they agreed. But the area, one of the areas they felt was at the top was our parent participation and the resources we provide our parents. And that means that every single person here contributes to that. It's not just Alma from our parent center, not just Mr. Toms or Mr. Hernandez and Denise. It's everybody, our parents, our staff are what come together to make sure that we have a strong parent presence on our campus. And I know presence may sound silly right now because you're not physically here, but you being online and attending our meetings, that is your presence. And they noticed that. They met with a group of parents and the parents were able to talk about that, what support we provide and how we're able to answer your questions when you have questions. And that made the parent component as one of our top 3 that are stellar at Sweetwater High School. So I want to thank you all for your contributions, for coming to our meetings. And I know you may not be able to make it every time, but that's why we record the meetings and we put them online on our website under the parent tab so that you can access them whenever you cannot attend. But like I said, next month, we're going to go to the evenings. We're going to provide the English version most likely on a Wednesday evening and the Spanish version on a Thursday evening, usually the first Wednesday of the month. But we're going to look at our calendar. We're going to send out the dates for the rest of the year. And again, we're here to serve you. Have a wonderful weekend. A reminder that Monday is a holiday. It's Martin Luther King Jr. Day. So we will not have classes. We will not be here at school on Monday. We will see our students on Tuesday, and we'll send a reminder out to our families so they know not to send their students home. Or if your student says, Mom, Dad, there's no school, they're telling the truth. We don't have school until Tuesday. All right, have a wonderful weekend and I'll see you next month. Thank you.
Dr. Gavin, I'm sorry, I don't know if it's too late, but I just received one more question from a parent. It just has numbers. It says, hi, Denise.